Hi all. So we are looking at the lecture on EC 303 Applied Electromagnetic Theory, and currently we are at module number 5 of transmission lines, and we have been looking at the Smith chart. So in the last lecture we have seen how to mark an impedance in the Smith chart. So in this lecture we are going to see how to mark or how to find the value of reflection coefficient, VSWR or SWR, and input impedance at a length L from the load. Okay, so I have two Smith charts with me top of this page, so we will look into how to draw different or mark the points and find these values as we move on. Okay, fine. So in order to explain each of them, we need to make use of the equations currently we have with us. Okay, so let's look at first the reflection coefficient. So we know that the Smith chart is drawn with the x-axis as the real part of the reflection coefficient and y-axis as the imaginary part of the reflection coefficient. Let me draw it straight. So this is tau r and this is tau y. Okay, and you have this circle, which is the circle which represents the maximum value of reflection coefficient. Okay, so this represents our reflection coefficient, the maximum value mod tau is equal to 1. And you can have any point inside this circle. So if you measure this distance and this angle theta, then you know what is the reflection coefficient value. Okay, so this each and every point inside the circle has a coordinate for tau r and tau y. Okay, so let's say I want to measure at this point A what is the reflection coefficient. Okay, so what we want to do, we already know the outermost circle has reflection coefficient is equal to 1. So let me mark this as O, the origin O, and the point as A. So if you want to measure the reflection coefficient at A, what you can do is you extend this point to the outer circle. Let me mark this as B. Okay, and we know that OB has the magnitude of reflection coefficient is equal to 1. Okay, and using a scale you can also measure the distance of OB. Okay, so there is some distance here which you can measure using a scale. So let's say this is like 10 centimeter. Okay, so you know that 10 centimeter corresponds to a magnitude of reflection coefficient is equal to 1. Okay, then if you measure this distance, if you measure the distance OA, and let's say you can measure it using a scale, let's say this is 5 centimeter. So if 10 centimeter corresponds to reflection coefficient is equal to 1, what does 5 centimeter corresponds to for what does 5 centimeter corresponds to reflection coefficient. Okay, so since this is a plane of real and imaginary part, the relation between these two quantities are linear. Implies 10 centimeter corresponds to reflection coefficient of 1. So 5 centimeter corresponds to a reflection coefficient of 1 by 10 centimeter into 5 centimeter, which is 0.5. So the reflection coefficient of the point A, which is basically an impedance point, so this is basically some impedance, let's say this is some ZL. So reflection coefficient at A, which is equal to the reflection coefficient at ZL, is 0.5. So whenever you want to measure the reflection coefficient corresponding to any particular impedance, you draw a straight line from the origin to the point, then you extend that point to the outer circle, you measure the distance from the center to the outer circle, you also measure the distance from the center to the point, and the ratio of the distance of center to the point to the center to the outer circle will give you the magnitude of reflection coefficient at impedance ZL. So currently it is at point A. So this only gives you magnitude, but your reflection coefficient is complex, so you can always get a phase term also. Okay, fine. So let me go back to this figure, okay, of Smith chart. So let's take ZL bar is equal to 1 plus 1j. It's a normalized impedance, and you know how to mark ZL bar. So that is this point, okay, and you know this is the origin, okay. So you can connect these 2 points, fine. So this is my O point and this is my A point. To measure the impedance, you need to extend this to the outer circle. Okay, the outer circle is basically here, this point. So that is this circle is the circle in which you have the reflection coefficient magnitude is equal to 1. Okay, now using a scale, you need to have a scale with you. So using a scale, measure OA. Okay, so assume that the impedance here is ZL, that is equal to ZL bar is equal to 1 plus 1j. Okay, let this point be P, or let's use the same notation where that point is B instead of P. Okay, measure OA and OB. Fine. So let's say you have measured some value here as, let's say, 2 centimeter. Okay, and you measured some value here as, let's say, 10 centimeter. Okay, so the reflection coefficient of ZL, so I can represent as mod tau L, is equal to the distance OA divided by the distance OB, that is 2 by 10, that is 0.2. So the magnitude of reflection coefficient for the impedance ZL bar is 0.2. So that is only magnitude. Now you want to find the phase also. For the phase, if you look at here, so see, angle of reflection coefficient in degrees, okay, that is marked here. Let me mark angle of reflection coefficient in degrees, it is marked, and this is just like a protractor. So you have 0 degree here, and as you move you have 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree, 60 degree, 70 degree, and it crosses a point here which is, let's say this is around 65 degree. Okay, so your complete value of reflection coefficient tau L is equal to, or let me write in here, the complete value of reflection coefficient tau L is equal to 0.2 e raised to j 65 degree, because our reflection coefficient tau L, I can represent it as mod tau L e raised to j phi, where phi is 65 degree. Okay, now you should understand that you should convert 65 degree to radians and then expand it to get the value. Okay, so this 65 degree should be in radians to get the value. This should be converted to radians to get the value. So that will give you the reflection coefficient. Okay, you have understood this. So finding reflection coefficient is very easy in a Smith chart. You just need to measure using a scale the distances of your ZL and the distance from origin to the outer circle. Okay, fine. So I hope you have understood this. Now let's move on to finding VSWR. Okay, so if you draw your transmission line, okay, this is ZL, this has Z0. The expression for VSWR or SWR is 1 plus mod tau L by 1 minus mod tau L, where tau L is the reflection coefficient at the load. Okay. Now, what is the speciality of this SWR? You see that, let's say this is Z equal to 0 point, and this is, let's say, Z equal to minus L point, which we have considered, and you can have at any point there is some L dash, Z equal to minus L dash, which is at a distance L dash from the load. If you look at VSWR, what is the speciality that you are seeing with respect to the distance? Remember, VSWR can be measured at any point on transmission line, and the VSWR doesn't depend on the point at which it is measured. Or you can say doesn't depend on L dash. Okay. So if you measure the VSWR at point A, at point B, at point C or at load, you will have the same VSWR or SWR. Okay, so at any point you will have the same SWR. Okay, and also if you look, S is equal to 1 plus tau L, or the magnitude of tau L by 1 minus magnitude of tau L. So tau L I can write as 1 plus magnitude of tau R plus j tau I by 1 minus magnitude of tau R plus j tau I. This can be expanded as 1 plus root over tau R square plus tau I square by 1 minus root over tau R square plus tau I square. Okay, and if you cross multiply and everything, you will find that this is similar to a circle. I am not deriving that. So it comes more or like a circle. Okay, and it doesn't depend on the length of the transmission line. So if you draw a circle okay with center tau R comma tau I is equal to 0 comma 0 and radius till the point saddle. Okay, why the point saddle? Because you are considering tau L. Tau L corresponds to the reflection coefficient of saddle. Then all the impedances in the transmission line lies on this circle. That's a very important point. If you draw in the Smith chart a circle with center at 0 comma 0 and radius till saddle, so saddle, the point is your radius from 0 to 0 saddle, then all the impedances of the transmission line will lie in that circle, because you see that the SWR should be same anywhere in the transmission line. So each point in the transmission line you can represent in the Smith chart, and each point should lie in the constant SWR circle. So this circle is called as constant VSWR circle. Okay, so let's see in the Smith chart how it looks like. Okay, so we already have that point ZL, which is this. Now if you draw a circle with radius OA, okay, if you draw a circle with radius OA, okay, this is your constant VSWR circle. Okay, and the radius is equal to OA, center at O. So you need to have a compass and you need to draw this circle. Okay, and all the impedances of the transmission line lies in this circle. Because we are designing a transmission line for a particular load impedance and for a particular characteristic impedance transmission line, it is not going to change, There's the length of transmission line also fixed. So all the impedances should lie in this circle. For example, if you traverse this circle, you see that it is intersecting at this point. Some impedance is there, there is some impedance there, some impedance here, there is an impedance here. So all these impedances are available in the transmission line, but it is available at different lengths. We'll see how we can find the length. Okay, so at 1 plus 1j you have the load impedance, and wherever this circle meets the different impedances, so this is one impedance, there is one impedance here, one impedance here, one impedance here, there's an impedance here, and it goes on. So all these impedances are the impedances which is lying on the transmission line. So VSWR, constant VSWR circle is the most important circle in which for finding the impedances. Okay, so we'll see by looking at an example how we can find the impedance at a distance L dash. Okay, so before that, how can you find the VSWR? We know the expression for VSWR, or we know there is a constant VSWR circle, but what is the value of VSWR, or in bracket S? What's the value? Okay, now S is 1 plus mod tau L by 1 minus mod tau L. So is it real or complex? It is always a real value because these two are magnitudes. Okay, which means it is a real value. Now how will you find that real value? Okay, so real value implies this should lie in tau r axis, because tau I means imaginary value. Okay, so in your Smith chart, wherever tau r is there, so this is your tau r, and the vertical axis is tau I. So this the VSWR should lie in this one, because VSWR is real, and real values always lie in the tau r axis. If you have tau I also, it will become imaginary value. Fine. Now what is the value? To find the value, let's go back and look at the value of r that we have derived. Okay, if you remember the value of r, we have derived as r plus jx, and we found that the r value is 1 minus tau r square minus tau I square by 1 minus tau r whole square plus tau I square. So this is the r value that we have derived. Okay, now we know that for VSWR, tau I is equal to 0. So tau r axis means the value of tau I is equal to 0. So your r value is 1 minus tau r square by 1 minus tau r whole square. So this is 1 minus tau r into 1 plus tau r by 1 minus tau r whole square. That is equal to, so 1 plus tau r by 1 minus tau r. Okay. Now the tau r that I represent here is basically the tau r real part of tau l, because s has s, the value of s is in terms of tau l. Okay, so the value of VSWR or S is where the S circle meets tau r axis. Okay, so if you come back here, you see that it meets here, the tau r axis here. Now if you look at this value, so this is resistance, this is 3.0, so it will be something around 2.8. So value of S is 2.8. Okay, okay, so now the question is, can I, so the circle meets at 2 points, one is here and also meets here, so can I take this value? The answer is no, because the S value should always be greater than 1, and all these values at the left side of origin has a value less than 1. So the value of S circle on the right side of the origin, where it meets the real axis, is where you find the VSWR. Okay, so if you go back to the value of VSWR where the S circle meets the tau r axis to the right of origin. Okay, you cannot have in the left, because this value will become less than 1, which is not possible. Okay, fine. So now we found out how we could measure the VSWR in the Smith chart. Now let's try to measure the impedance. Okay, for that, let's consider the transmission line. ZL at Z equal to 0 and at Z equal to minus L dash, there is the generator, the Z0 is a characteristic impedance. Now at or Z equal to L, you have, okay, let's take it in a different notation. So the generator is at Z equal to L dash, and we are considering any point L. Okay, I just change the notation, that's all. So at any point L, the reflection coefficient I can always represent as tau L e raised to minus 2j beta L. This we have seen for a lossless transmission line. And we are mostly looking at lossless transmission line in Smith chart. Okay, where beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda. Okay, now for a given transmission line and load, tau L is constant because you are not varying the load. Okay, load is not varied. Okay, So the reflection coefficient at any point L is given by tau L e raised to minus 2j beta L. So the variable in the reflection coefficient of tau L is L, because you have a fixed lambda. The lambda is fixed for the generator. The tau L is fixed because you are not varying the load. So as we move along this transmission line from load to generator, the only thing that is changing is the length, or at which point you are measuring the length. So variable in tau L is L as we move along the transmission line. Fine. Now what happens when we move along the transmission line in Smith chart? What happens in Smith chart as we move along the transmission line? That is the question. Okay. So let's take some numerical values. Okay. So this is Z equal to 0, ZL, Z0. Okay. Let's say ZL is equal to 50 plus J 50 ohm, Z0 is equal to 50 ohm. Fine. And let's also assume the wavelength is 10 centimeter for the sake of explanation. Okay. So this is Z equal to 0. Now at point A, let's say the distance from the load is 2.5 centimeter. Okay. So at point A, so this the length of transmission line, let's say this is let's take it as 10 centimeter only. Okay. At point A, the value of L dash or L is equal to 2.5 centimeter. It is at a distance 2.5 centimeter from load. So I can represent this length in terms of lambda. So this is equal to actually lambda by 4, because lambda is 10 by 4 is 2.5 centimeter. Let's look at B, which is at distance 5 centimeter from the load. So at point B, L is equal to 5 centimeter from the load. That is equal to lambda by 2 distance from the load. Lambda by 2 centimeter from the load. And so I can write the total transmission line length is equal to 10 centimeter, which is equal to lambda centimeter. Fine. So you can represent any point or you can represent the distance of any point can be represented in terms of the wavelength of the generator. So any point on transmission line you can represent in terms of the wavelength of the generator. Okay. So lambda 4 means 0.25 lambda, this is 0.25 lambda, this is 0.5 lambda, and so on. Okay. So if I write tau of L is equal to tau L e raised to minus j2 beta L, at A this is equal to tau L e raised to minus j2 into 2 pi by lambda into L is lambda by 4. So this is tau L e raised to minus j pi. Similarly at B, this is tau L e raised to minus 2 into 2 pi by lambda into lambda by 2, that is tau L e raised to minus j 2 pi. Okay, and at, or let's say the total length is equal to tau L e raised to minus j2 into 2 pi by lambda into lambda, that is tau L e raised to minus j 4 pi. Okay. So what does each of these terms signify in Smith chart? The tau L point is the point of saddle. So where saddle is there, that is a tau L point. And what does this mean? It means rotate at, or rotate 180 degree clockwise, because there is a negative sign, from the point saddle. Okay. It means that you are going to rotate 180 degree clockwise because it is a negative direction, or there is a minus sign here from the point saddle. Because why the point saddle? Because you are measuring from, starting from tau L. If instead of pi it would have been 0, this would have been at the point saddle. Okay. So if you want to find the impedance or reflection coefficient at A, what you want to do? You need to rotate 180 degree. So let's mark the point. So we found that saddle bar is equal to 1 plus 1j. Okay, that is this point. Okay. Now let me draw the straight line. Okay. Now if you look at here, it says wavelengths towards generator. Now this is saddle. So in the transmission line, you are at here, which is saddle, and this is the generator, and you want to move towards generator because your A point is somewhere here, B is here, etc., etc. So from the load, which is a saddle, you need to move towards generator to reach the point A, and you see the arrow here, this is towards here, that is clockwise direction. Now how much you need to move? So the point A is at 180 degree from tau L, which is the point saddle. So this is actually the tau L, because you are plotting in reflection coefficient, and you want to move 180 degree. Now how will you find out which is the 180 degree? Okay, so either you can see the angle of reflection coefficient here, okay, which means that, so this is around 65 degree. So once you move towards the generator 65 degree, once you reach at this point, you have traversed 65 degree, and then you want to move 115 degree. Okay, so either you can expand this line towards here, Okay, and you see that the rest is, so the marking here, if you look, this is minus 20, minus 30. To complete 180 degree, you need to move now 180 minus 65 degree, which is equal to 115 degree. So you check the markings here, is minus 30, minus 40, minus 90, minus 10, so something around here. Okay, so I think I'll draw it a bit more straight, so that okay, so this is the point 1 minus 115 degree, which means you have traversed 65 degree here and 115 degree here. So total is 180 degree. Okay, so the impedance of this point corresponds to, you draw the VSWR circle, so draw the VSWR circle and see along this line where it is meeting the VSWR circle. Okay, so it is meeting something around here. Okay. So this is the point A. If you want to find the impedance at this point, it might be approximately like 6 is here coming, and there is one coming here which is like 0.5. So the impedance here is 0.6 minus 0.5 J. Why minus? Because you are in the lower hemisphere. Remember, lower hemisphere means X is negative. Okay, so this is approximation, like I haven't drawn it accurately, but this is how you measure the impedance or at any point on the line. Okay, so you need to rotate along the VSWR circle depending on the degree, and you want to mark the point on the VSWR circle which will give you the impedance. Okay, so it will become more clear once we do the example. This is just a illustration, or else you can see from this description, when you have lambda by 4, you are traversing 180 degree. Okay, that is from here. When you have lambda by 2, you are traversing 360 degree. When you have at a distance of lambda, you are traversing 720 degree in Smith chart. So if you have a transmission line and you want to find a impedance or reflection coefficient at lambda distance from the transmission line, you just need to rotate along the transmission line 720 degree. Basically you will reach the same point, and we will see why it is, and that impedance at that point will give you the impedance at the point lambda distance from the load. Okay, there is one more thing, is that instead of using the angle of reflection coefficient, you can also use the wavelengths towards generator. Okay, that is, if you look at here, whatever is marked here is the wavelength towards generator, and the point here, you see this is 0.11, 0.2, 0.13, 0.4. This is actually 0.11 lambda, this is 0.12 lambda, this is 0.13 lambda. This is in terms of the wavelengths. So we have seen lambda by 2 is equal to 0.25 lambda. So we have representing it in terms of wavelengths. And at this point, this is around 0.16 lambda approx. Okay, now the value at A is lambda by 4, which is 0.25 lambda. Fine. So if you want to, so at load, your distance is like lambda equal to 0, not lambda equal to 0, z equal to 0, but distance is equal to 0. At A, distance is equal to lambda by 4, or that is equal to 0.25 lambda. Okay, so at the load, which is this is the reference point, which means that at 0.16 lambda your value of z equal to 0. Now you want to move to a value at which z equal to 0.25 lambda, which means you want to go to a location starting from 0.16, you need to traverse 0.25 lambda. So the location at which you want to find is, you see this is 0.25 here, so this is 0.25 lambda. So when you traverse this distance, you have traversed 0.25 lambda minus 0.16 lambda, that is 0.9 lambda. Okay, but you want to go for 0.25 lambda, that means you want to go again back from 0.25, this is 0.26, so you want to go again 0.16 lambda to reach there. Okay, so if you look at here, 0.16 means 0.25, 0.26, 0.25 plus 0.16 is equal to 0.41 lambda. So you look at these values and see where you are reaching 0.41 lambda, which is here. Okay, so this is the point A. So either you can do using the wavelength, or you can do using the protractor measurement. In both ways you can go along the Smith chart. But the thing here to understand is, there is a one-to-one correspondence between the transmission line and the Smith chart. When you are moving along the transmission line, you are actually moving, you are actually rotating in the Smith chart. Okay, so this is how you are going to find the impedance at any length L from the load. Okay, so we will do an example in the next class. I think that will make things more clear. So we will stop it now, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for listening.